All right, so we'll move on to the COVID-19 presentation from Yuba City Economic Development Corporation and the Chamber of Commerce regarding COVID-19. Brenda Stranix from the Yuba City EDC and Marty Sanders from Yuba City Chamber of Commerce. I hope you're both there and welcome. It says you're signed in, but I don't have your microphones are muted. At least Marnie's is.
Okay, it's supposed to be hearing from my computer, so I unmuted it. So I'll start again.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
There's also a delay when I hit the forward button on the computer, so bear with me, please.
No worries.
In partnership with the Yuba City Economic Development Corporation and CEO Brenda Stranix. The Chamber and the EDC surveyed its members and businesses from March 26th to March 31st. The survey was sent out to approximately 25 business owners and managers, and of those surveys that were sent out, we received 148 responses. We asked our businesses if they had to close their doors completely. Of our respondents, 25% said yes, they closed their doors altogether. Next, we asked if they didn't close, if they had to reduce their hours. Of the responses, 55% said they had to reduce their business hours as a result of the COVID situation and the directive. We also asked our businesses if they were now operating remotely. Of the responses, 22% said that yes, they were operating remotely now. And that does include the chamber. We also asked those we surveyed if they had to reduce employee hours. 67% responded that yes, they did reduce employee hours. I don't have this on any of the slides, but we also asked those we surveyed how many employees they had to lay off. Of the 148 respondents, we had a total of 400 employees who were laid off in this particular survey, and that's out of approximately 4,000 jobs. Last slide pertaining to the survey, we asked our businesses what their greatest concern was. Obviously, cash flow, and as you can see here, meeting cash flow needs in the next 90 days is of great concern, but I think 30, 60, 90 days, it's very concerning to all of our businesses right now, as many businesses are closed. They're doing a fraction of the business that they were doing before the COVID situation. I know I've talked to restaurants who maybe have 30% of what the revenue they had before, and just trying to keep their heads above water. I also wanted to point out some of the comments regarding this other column. And again, it just all goes back to cash flow. Our businesses are worried about being able to pay their rent and their utilities, their payroll. They've had to lay a lot of employees off and reduce hours. None of this is, I'm sure, any surprise to any of you. Our businesses are worried about retaining good employees. They're worried about their health, their employees' health. There's just a lot to be concerned about in this time that we're in right now. But I do have to say that I've talked to a lot of businesses, and there really is still a lot of positivity out there. Folks just understand that this is a situation that that we don't have control over, other than to, you know, do what is required to keep ourselves and our family and friends healthy, so we can get out of this situation and hopefully back to business as usual, whatever that looks like. I know that, you know, folks might be starting to think about doing business differently moving forward. All right, to the last slide, and I'm sure you all know this, but both the Chamber and the EDC are working really diligently at staying on top of information, especially when it comes to, you know, loans and financial help for our business community. So both the Chamber and the EDC have created pages on their website that we have all that information available for our business community. So, you know, please feel free to go and check that out. We try to keep that updated as often as we can. And then I've just included slides to take a look at our website. So if you go to yubacetterchamber.com, this is what you'll find for our rapid response resources. And then similar to that with the EDC, they also have resources, and obviously they have business loans and loan programs there. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this narration and allow for questions. And Brenda and I are on the phone call if you have any specific questions for us. Thank you very much.
All right, well, thank you very much. It's good information to have on EDC website, Chamber website. I understand it's also on the city's website. So any resources, information available for businesses to help them out during this tough time, I'm sure they would appreciate it. So thank you very much for that presentation. I would like to invite any public comment if we have received any, Terrell.
No, we have not.
We have not. Okay. Any members of the council care to comment on anything?
Yes, I do, through the mayor.
Yes.
Thank you, Marnie, and thank you, Brenda. I had a couple of questions that I wanted to ask. You know, these are very trying times, as we all are very familiar with, and considering how challenging it is for many businesses in our community. You know, I'm had a lot of questions about, or actually questions from small, you know, mom and pop kind of businesses. And in particular, you know, speaking Hispanic, Punjabi, East Indian community, second language issues. How are you reaching out to those particular businesses? That's a question for Marnie or Brenda.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna turn my video on. So, hi everybody. Thank you for allowing us to be here this evening with you all. As far as the chamber is concerned, we have not reached out specifically to those segments. However, you know, we're reaching out to our membership and to the broader business community through, you know, social media channels and through our website. And I'm not sure if Brenda's, what she's doing on her end, but that, so if you have any suggestions, I mean, we're happy to hear those as well. Because we're trying to reach the broader business community. Normally the chamber, you know, focuses primarily on its members, but we understand in this time, you know, we're being much more inclusive and we want to be supportive of the entire business community. Yeah.
Brenda?
So this is Brenda. Good evening, council. Thank you for the time. We did produce all of our loan documentation marketing as well as loan applications in both Spanish and Punjabi for the Sutter County loan program.
Well, that's good to hear. I appreciate the fact that it was translated. I think that there's an opportunity to build a partnership with AHA, the Alliance for Hispanic Advancement. I'm sure one of the things that In that, I also heard some challenges from people and even myself, but how we can work together to break it down for people to understand how to apply, which loan works best for them and their business. And so, you know, to make it manageable for them, because in everything else that they have, as you mentioned, you know, in your presentation, there's already a tremendous amount of stress that they're under. And so a lot of the questions from business owners, again, mom and pops, it's like, which loan's best for me? You know, where do I start? And so breaking it down as a more manageable type of understanding for folks, I think, is there any work being done that or considered on that?
Well, oh, go ahead, Brenda. You can
Go
start.
ahead. Go ahead. Either way, Marnie. I guess our real message is, Grace, from both Marnie and I, is have them call either one of us. We will make sure they get to the resources they need, not unlike any other everyday business transaction in Yuba and Sutter County. We will make sure that they are assisted if they need language assistance, if they just need assistance filling out applications. We are all prepared to do that with and for them.
That's great to hear. I was also asking within our city, you know, because we have business license that we issued through the city, and I think there's some research being done right now in identifying all those really small mom and pop kind of businesses, right? Would there be, this is a question for our council together and our city manager, is there an opportunity maybe to reach out to those that are not on social media, those that are not website access or familiar or utilized, to send to hand deliver a flyer to each of these at their door? Non-essential staff could go out to each of these businesses that have business licenses and drop off a flyer to try to say, well, not to try to say, but to share some of these resources of the work that you're doing. Perhaps there could be something we could do as a city to help with that. I don't know if any thoughts of.
Is there an opportunity to put something in, say, the city water bill, or do you have a?
Where's our city manager? Diana.
Yep, I'm here. So there's a couple of options. We could put something in the utility bill. I can also work with finance in terms of getting the list of current business licenses, and then, you know, working with staff to identify some different ways that we could get information out, and then we could bring that back to council for discussion, perhaps in our meeting next Monday, and, you know, be able to provide some information and some different options.
Thank you, Diana. What do you think, Marty and Brenda, for some of those things, if we are able to assist with that?
Sure. And we could help to put that information together if you would like.
If it's just a one flyer summary of how, you know, applications and multiple languages, I think would be helpful for folks. The last comment that I would like to make is that, you know, talking to local businesses and local bankers, I've been making some calls and talked with various local banks, and Bank of Feather River has actually been receiving quite a bit of applications, as other banks locally as well. And one of the things is maybe we can work with convening a meeting with our local banks to help understand what's the process and some of those pressure points in helping people work through the banking process as well, because there's a lot of answers that are not clear in the rules, and so they want to assist as much as they can. They're local community banks. They're invested in our community, and so perhaps we can entertain hosting a workshop and inviting local banks to give some information to our small businesses and find a way to help our businesses to be able to survive this pandemic crisis. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
And I think,
Thank you, Grace.
yeah, thank you. And I just to comment, I know I talked to a local bank this morning, and they're even trying to keep up on the different information that comes every day, really. And the conversations that I've had with people is that if you have a relationship with a lender or with a bank, to go in and to have that conversation with them. And banks right now, they've got to prioritize, and so they're working with their existing customers first. And so it's really helpful if you've already have an established relationship. And so that's a message that I've been carrying to businesses, because this is such a cumbersome process. So if they can, have a conversation with a banker or lender that they know, I think that's going to be really helpful to them as well.
Through the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Marnie, thank you guys, you and Brenda, for the work that you guys have been doing. And it was nice, Marty, to see on the Chamber's website right up front that it wasn't hidden behind member-only areas. You had the resources there. So I really appreciate that. With this whole process we're going through, and what people have to understand, and while it's a good idea to try to do outreach, this is moving at such a fast pace. It's not changing daily, it's changing by the hour. The avenues professionally I'm plugged in with is in the lines of the Treasury, through the bank taxes and things of that nature. And like you said, Marnie, they are getting updates to applications, updates to rules. They're trying to digest this. So I don't know how we reached people that aren't plugged into social media of some sorts, because the issue with this is it's moving so fast that if we put something in our water bills, if we put something out in the mailer, by the time they get it, they're going to be, the train left the station Friday, and it really left yesterday and today. Several national banks such as Wells Fargo, Bank of America have already hit their limits. Chase finally rolled theirs out today. As you said, talking with our local lenders here, they are all taking care of servicing their relationships first and moving things along. So that's the main point of contact, because all of the stimulus that's coming through the SBA will not be through the conventional methods. And that was Treasury Secretary Mnuchin's plan, was to get it through the banks to where it would be in the hands of everyone. And so with that, I'm open to suggestions, but I don't think that traditional means is going to get us there. So maybe some webinars with our local bankers, something that's got to be immediate. We know that it's going to be changing almost daily, but we've got to get people plugged into social media and to the internet, because if not, they will miss the boat on this.
So, Dave, this is Brenda. I have a suggestion.
Yes.
We utilize the City of Yuba City's business license list, and specifically those that have email addresses. If the city could assist us with getting that more complete, some of them do have email addresses, others do not. That would be a great way for us to reach more people, to either message directly to them or message them about opportunities for seminars or that kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be a great idea, as long as we can do that without violating any privacy laws there. So I would kick that back to Diana and ask Ms. Langley if that would be something they could find out, or actually our attorney is on this as well. It's a great idea, but we got to make sure that we protect the privacy.
Right. Well, you already have a pretty extensive email list, don't you, that you send out newsletters? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
And we are messaging through the city's email list as well.
Thank you. I get both the chambers and the EDC, so thank you both.
All right, anything further before we move on? Oh, hold on. My pause. All right, so Thank you for that very much, Brenda and Marnie. That was a lot of work putting together that. Looks like some more effort to getting the word out to these businesses. They're going through some tough times.